have unlocked a Roundtable.
Welcome to the Lost Levels Roundtable discussion of Until Dawn. My name's Chris. With me, as always, is Alex.
Hello.
And the reason why we're discussing Until Dawn today is because we recently played it. It's a game that's come out, I think it was August, I believe.
It came out quite a few months ago, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a new game, but we definitely recently played it, and we have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
So we do want to talk about it. So traditionally with our roundtable discussions, we are going to go into a non-spoiler review of it, do our credits, and then after the credits, we're going to go into a full-blown spoiler section. So that being said, hang on after, and then we get all done and
Yes.
dirty. I'm stumbling over words.
Yes. Hang in after the credits and you will listen to even more review filled with spoilers and what we thought of it.
Yes. Okay, so how would you describe Until Dawn?
Until Dawn is a horror cinematic experience, I guess.
Yeah.
In video game form. Like think Heavy Rain or Indigo Prophecy. Somebody like Quantum Dream.
Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah,
was
Beyond
the
Two
latest
Souls.
one.
Yeah. Think something like that, but with a horror genre to it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I felt like with those games that you kind of just mentioned from Quantum, they're good, but they don't. There's something about them that they don't feel. I don't know. There's something missing about them. I can't really put my finger on them. I enjoy them, but
I think with those games, you feel like they give you the impression that there's a lot of divergent paths, but you don't really get a good grasp of what those different paths are, as opposed to this where you could kind of understand where they can go, because it does take that on that horror genre, and you could lose many of the characters, probably all of the characters along the way, and have them all die or have them all saved at the end. So you get such a different varying degrees of completion in this game and different ways to pull it out, and you can see what they are.
yeah, and once you make a decision, it actually this game kind of notifies you, like with a butterfly effect type of thing. Like, you chose this, so this is what happened from that.
Yeah, that is definitely a big mechanic where they play off the whole idea of the butterfly effect, where a butterfly flaps its wings and creates a hurricane 1,000 miles away. It goes into that one small thing could make a dire change in the rest of the events of the game. And you see that where you do something very insignificant, like talk about a baseball bat, and that could actually affect how things proceed in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that they've done it. I feel like it's going to be kind of compared to the Quantum games because it's the same style of game.
Very much so. Quick time events and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but it separates itself too because it feels like it's a little bit more cinematic. It's got like these horror tropes, obviously.
Yeah, it's very cabin in the woods horror tropey in that sense, where it's a bunch of teens going up to a cabin in the woods in the middle of winter, and the events unfold from there.
Yeah, exactly, and it's I don't know, like okay, so we kind of talked about it. Like, what do you think about the mechanic? Does it work? Is it
for this type of game? Yes, because the game built itself off of choices, and just like I said, the way the events unfold. So that's going to be really the main focus. You don't want the mechanics to be based off of how well you can play a game or anything like that. Sure, it's a matter of how well you know the buttons and how well you can hit the quick time events and all that, but it's not like you have to be really great at the dual analog look and shoot or anything like that. There's very little of that, and even when there is, it's so simplified and dumbed down that it's something that I feel a newcomer to video games can play and still get a lot of joy out of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is something like I would like, hey, Mom, Dad, check this game out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's like you're essentially playing a movie, and you have control of the fate of these characters. Mm-hmm. And like we said, your decisions matter in terms of who lives, who dies, what happens in the story. It's really interesting concept. Something that I bought because it was on sale and didn't think too much of it.
I recommend it to you.
Yeah, a couple people did actually.
Yeah.
I bought it at the same time I bought Fallout, and I bought it because it was on sale, thinking that I'm not really going to play it anytime soon because I'm going to dedicate all my time to Fallout. So I popped in Fallout, played a little bit of that, and wanted something different, a change, and this is definitely a different type of game. I wanted something a little bit more cinematic, and that's what I got here.
This is a very bite-sized game as opposed to Fallout. Fallout is a game that you could easily sink 100 hours into, while this, a single playthrough, takes you about 8 to 9 hours.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened for me. I immediately got involved in it, not knowing too much about it, but still getting just immediately engulfed into the story. And I played it for several hours the first time. Second playthrough, I went through and I beat it.
Oh, you did. I didn't realize you did a second playthrough already.
Or not a second playthrough, second time that I played it.
Oh, okay.
So I picked it up the first time, played it for several hours. Second time I played it, finished it.
Okay, so it was a 2-seater for you then.
Yeah, I completely just got totally into the story and wanted to see how it ends and what my decisions were and how could I have done that a little bit differently. The other problem for me too that I was a little bit frustrated on was I'm not very used to the Sony controller versus the Xbox controller.
Right.
So my problems with QuickTime events are I'm not as sharp with those as I am with playing with this.
Which one's
Xbox
a triangle
one.
Again?
Right.
Or are you confusing which X?
Yeah, the ones I was really screwed up on was square and circle because they're across from each other. And I know now that square is over onto the left-hand side. But what I had to do, because I lost the character because of my inability to know the controller.
Oh, no.
Had I known the controller, that would have been fine.
How many characters did you end up losing at the end?
I think 2 or 3.
I lost 2.
5 people survived for me, so I think I lost 3.
Okay.
And one of them easily could have been saved had I just known the controller a little bit better. Okay. So after that event occurred, I'm like, shit. The other part of this too is it's really unforgiving in terms of it kind of saves quickly.
There is a lot of auto saving, so you can't really you can't do the whole save scumming thing of okay, I'm going to make this checkpoint, I'm going to reload if I don't like the outcome. It's like, no, this is your decision. This is going to be outcome. Take that, motherfucker.
Yeah, which the developers were very aware of people doing that type of thing. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, especially with huge role-playing games where I have lock picks and stuff like that. The second that I roll up to something, I'll do a quick save. And if I don't want to lose a lock pick or whatever, I'll have that save right there in front of it. And then I get to save it again or restart it from that
I've been
checkpoint.
doing that a lot in Fallout. Just F5 for a quick save, F9 to reload. I've been hitting those buttons quite a bit. Yeah,
I am very guilty of that. So it was kind of refreshing, really not having that ability here and playing a game where it's shit, the way that I hit these buttons, if they're not quick enough, this character's fate could be determined. And I liked that aspect of it.
It gives a good sense of tension to the gameplay, and it really helps. For someone who tries to game the game as I do, it was a humbling experience knowing that I can't do that as easily. I did a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because, I realized what I did is not what I intended to do. So I would just quickly close the app and reopen it before a save would happen.
That's the workaround. And I didn't think about doing that because I didn't want to ruin any save file or whatever because I knew that the company had that idea in mind. Shit, what if I do a hard stop and it kind of screws something up and I didn't want to do it? Mm-hmm. But you told me about that before I played through it my second sitting.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. Do I want to do it here? Because somebody just died. And I was really kind of torn on the inside. I didn't do it. but I was really damn close
Right.
to doing it.
Yeah, that was definitely a struggle for me. Because like I said, I tried to game the game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, playing through it once already and knowing how the events unfold and everything like that, it really wants me to do another playthrough to hopefully have everyone survive.
Yeah, and I definitely want to do another playthrough too, because I lost somebody early on that, once they pass away, they're not in the rest of the game.
Right.
But what if they survived? How much dialogue did I miss or whatever? I'm kind of interested to see how they would have survived.
Yeah.
Throughout the game.
And how it affected the rest of the story.
Yeah,
Definitely.
see if it does affect the rest of the story, in a significant way, or if it doesn't really matter overall. I didn't read up on it, because I want to play through it again. Obviously I can just go through a video or something and just watch it, but the replayability is kind of high in that regard. So if you fuck up the first time or something like that, you can definitely, which route you kind of want to take the second time.
Exactly, and like I said, one playthrough is 8 to 9 hours, so it's not a huge investment. It's not like an investment as Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect, where it's, are you going to choose Caden or are you going to choose Ashley? Which one are you going to save? It's nothing like that. And even then, it's there aren't decisions like that where it's you can either save this person, you can save that person. It's very forgiving in that manner.
It is. There is that type of decision in the game, though.
Yes.
And that does definitely affect some events that transpire. So I am interested to see.
Okay, yes. I once we get into the spoiler section, I do want to talk about that because I want to know some of the decisions you made.
Yeah, definitely. See, that's the thing, right? We're playing around all of this stuff, dancing around
Right.
a lot of these like specific topics with the game because we don't want to go into spoilers by any means, because this is a game that I highly recommend playing. Especially like if you have like a significant other or something. This is a game that you both can just sit on the couch and enjoy a cinematic experience and kind of like both of you get involved, like, oh my God, choose this, choose that type of thing. And you can have like debates and talks about that, because that's this type of game where it's like, you don't necessarily need to know how to use a controller, too much. I mean, you have to kind of know the button format because of the QuickTime events, but like you don't have to know the thumbsticks by any means, to handle stuff or maneuver stuff.
Some of the decisions you need to kind of make on the fly, like if you're running away from a threat, it's, sometimes it's, do you want to go left? Do you want to go right? Do you want to stay here? And those are timed to a degree.
Yeah.
Where you have probably 5 to 10 seconds to decide that, so you can't really have a deep discussion on that. But there are dialogue options where you can't sit and ponder on for a while.
Yeah, and those quick events where it's like you're trying to run away from something, and you're like, shit, which way to go? And like, it's tense, man. Like,
it is, because it's you kind of put yourself in that scenario. You're like, well, what would I do?
Yeah. It was definitely tense for me. Like, oh God, my anxiety is like not good because of the not being able to save my checkpoint
right.
type of features. Like, I'm making this decision and I'm going to have to live with this decision. So it's like, shit, I'm going left. And like, am I hiding? What am I doing? Oh fuck, I don't have this much time to decide. That was great. I really, really enjoyed that type of atmosphere because it gives me that opportunity to just like, shit, you know what? I'm doing it live. Screw this.
Right, no, definitely.
And I love that. I think the characters are actually pretty decent too.
Yes, I want to touch on that because you do start to care about a lot of the characters and you do want to get them through that. And I know I had my favorites, and there's actually throughout the game you talk to, in between chapters, you talk to like a therapist or whatever. And there's one section where he's basically having you choose your favorite people.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, well, I really had to think. I'm like, who do I like more between these two people? And some of them were real head scratchers. Some of them reason like, yeah, I don't care about this person because I don't give a shit. But like some of them like, I really like this person, but do I like them more than this person? And how much would this affect what ends up happening?
Exactly. Like, it's kind of like a head fuck.
Yeah,
a lot of
totally.
time, because like there's what, like I guess 10 chapters.
Yes.
And then in between those chapters, you have these like little visits to the psychiatrist.
Yeah,
type of thing.
if any of you guys have ever played Silent Hill Shattered Memories, it's very similar to those scenes.
Okay.
Those scenes remind me a lot of that game actually, and I've been wanting another game like Shattered Memories, so this was kind of a nice little reminder of that.
Nice. Yeah, it's really interesting too, because like you're asked these questions like what do you fear, and it gives you choices, and it breaks it down all of these things like shit, what do I choose?
And those fears will pop up in the game. So like if
possibly
like if you say you're afraid of spiders, you'll see spiders pop up more throughout the game.
Right. So like it's interesting, like the choices that you have to do and what the effects on the game does. I definitely want to choose a different route from the one that I chose the next playthrough, just to see how different everything is. And I was, like I said, I couldn't put this down. The only reason I put it down the first time is because I had to go to bed.
The only reason I put it down, like I got it basically around when it came out, but then I started playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and that just consumed my life when that came over. And so I kind of forgot about this game. Mm-hmm. And you said you got it. I'm like, oh yeah, I really do need to go back to that. I probably only got like a chapter or two into it.
Right.
And so once you started playing it, I started playing it again. Like I burned through it basically just as fast as you did.
Oh yeah. Like it was, and that's kind of the reason that we're having this discussion on this roundtable. Like, we didn't plan on doing a roundtable when we started playing this game, because it already came out, several months ago. But this is a game that, like, resonated with me, something that I really enjoyed this year, that I wanted to talk about, after the fact. And maybe if someone listens to this, they like what they're hearing about it, and then maybe they'll put it on the Christmas list.
Oh yeah, I hope so. It's definitely a good Christmas list game, I think.
Yeah, and there's definitely sales this holiday for Until Dawn too. Like, you can get it for $30 or something like that. It's a relatively new game. You can find it for cheap. I picked it up for $40 a few weeks ago, and I think I saw it on a Black Friday sale for like around $30ish.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me, because it is a PS4 exclusive, and it did not get a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of press, but like not a lot of mainstream attention.
No,
I mean, I heard this game discussed a lot on the various podcasts I listen to, because that's basically all I do when I'm at work, is listen to podcasts. Mm-hmm. And basically all of them talked about that game and highly recommended it. And it kind of spoiled me a bit, because they briefly touched on some things and hinted me to what I should do.
Okay.
So I had a little cheat factor in that, but it's definitely a game that did not gain a lot of popularity, so I'm sure it's going to be easy to find a good deal on it, because it's not going to be like a Halo 5 or a Fallout 4 or something like that gets a lot of press, and they know they could scrounge as much money as they can out of you.
Yeah, and this game is surviving basically on word of mouth at this point. So, like, there's not a lot of fanfare for it. You don't see commercials. You don't see a lot of stuff, which is weird, too, because, like, a lot of the time you see, this has actors that you know.
Yeah, definitely. It has.
And you could recognize them.
Hayden Panettiere, something like that.
Don't ask me the last name.
Right. The cheerleader from Heroes. It has the guy that plays Agent Ward from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Mm-hmm. And it has the guy that plays the main character from Mr. Robot on there. Yeah.
A very big up-and-comer.
Oh, like, yeah, you've been seeing him a lot lately. Yeah. He was in the Need for Speed movie as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's been in a lot more projects recently, and he plays Josh, one of the major central focused characters in this game.
Right.
And they do a
really good job.
Honestly, like, they do a great job with this. Like,
I mean, some of the dialogue is cheesy and corny.
See,
I want to attribute that to the trope of a horror movie where the dialogue is bad at times.
Right, and that's exactly what I accepted it for. Like, I knew, like, I wasn't expecting, like, the greatest story ever told by any means, but it's a cheesy horror flick type of atmosphere. You've got all the tropes there. You have this.
You have very varying types of horror aspects in it. With not going into too much, you have different elements of horror in there.
Yeah.
For different types of movies of horror, and they really explore all those.
Yeah, and even the characters are very diverse too. Like you have the stereotypical types the brainy ones, the bitchy ones,
the jockey ones. Yeah.
You have all of the stereotypical horror tropes in there, but it's still a fun, entertaining experience.
Definitely. So, like, if you are a fan of horror movies and not necessarily a fan of video games, this is something I think you would still want to try because it scratches that itch.
Yeah, and even if you don't own a PlayStation 4, but your friend does or whatever, you guys sit down and play it together. It's that type of experience where you're not necessarily bored watching somebody else play a game because it's very cinematic.
It's very cinematic, it's very narrative, and you can get invested in it outside of just playing.
Right, so you could just sit there watching somebody play it and still get good enjoyment out of it. Because you're like, oh my god, you're such an idiot. You should have went left instead of gone right. And like... and just joked around with somebody on the couch. Like it's a good time. Definitely to play. I recommend this game glowingly.
So do I. Yeah.
So what else do you want to talk about in the non-spoiler section?
I don't know. I think we really touched on everything. Visually, it looks good. The character models are good. The characters look like the actual actors. I'm sure they did facial capturing and all that good stuff for it. Really good detailed environments, good lighting at times. It's nowhere near as pretty as, say, like Metal Gear Solid 5 or Fallout 4, I would say, but it doesn't really lend itself to have that type of visual experience. Like I said, it's very cinematic, so they're very limited in what they wanted, what they were able to show off.
Yeah, they're not trying to, break the technology yet with this game. I think this game is kind of like
And also, this game was originally being developed for the PlayStation 3, I want to say.
Okay.
Because this was in development for a while, so I'm sure that, upgrading everything from PS3 graphics to PS4 graphics took time, and they couldn't really make it all that luxurious looking.
But it's still good looking.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong. It's still a gorgeous game. It's still... you're still going to get into it and not have to look at it like, oh, shitty 8-bit graphics.
No.
It's great looking still, despite that fact. So, that being said, what else do you want to talk about?
I think that about covers it for the spoiler-free section.
Okay. So then, final rating on this game.
It's definitely a game worth getting. There's plenty of replay value to it. If you didn't, well, even if you did have everyone survive during your first playthrough, there's so much more you can see in how other events can unfold and see the gruesome deaths that possibly the other characters can have.
Which are potentially pretty damn gruesome.
I saw two, and yeah, they made me cringe. At least one definitely did.
One definitely did for me as well. I was like, oh shit.
I think we're talking about the same one, but...
Yeah, I was surprised at the way that person died, and I was like, holy shit.
Right.
But that just got me more involved into the game. Like, oh man.
You're like, okay, now I really want to save everyone because I don't want anyone else to go through that.
Yeah, that was brutal. So maybe it is the same death that we're discussing. We'll talk about it in the spoiler section. But overall, I agree. I think this is a very fun game. Probably one of the top games of the year for me. Granted, I haven't played a lot this year, but I really enjoyed this game. I'm hoping that it has great word of mouth and it leads to eventual sales that causes them to possibly make a sequel or another type of game like this. Given the time with with the PS4, they'll probably have better graphics and everything like that. But I like the path that this was on. I like the butterfly effect. I like the way that the choices mattered in terms of not being able to checkpoint. I think it's a fun game that just really it's
very unique.
Yeah, it's a refreshing game too.
Yeah,
it's very refreshing. It's something that cleansed the palate from those open world games that you've been playing lately.
Yes, I am well aware of all those open world games I've been playing.
But it's just something completely different. So that's the thing. I really like this game. I think it's awesome. Great job to them. So I highly recommend it. Go out, buy it. Definitely pick it up. So how can we reach you, Alex?
You can follow me on Twitter. My name there is Alex Sandberg, AlexSanberg, or email me directly at the website, alex@lostlevel.com. What about you, Chris?
I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/calmintensity. I've been trying to tweet more as of late, so definitely making that effort. We have all of our social media links on lostlevel.com in the upper right-hand corner. So if you're interested in following us there or on Facebook or on YouTube, we're really trying to do some stuff on the YouTube page right now. So definitely check us out on YouTube. In the upper right-hand corner, lostlevel.com is the link to those. We're also on iTunes. Give us some stars. Give us some recommendations. We really appreciate it. So hang on to the spoiler section here, and we'll be talking about this a little bit more in depth.
Spoilers
time.
All right, so was it Matthew,
yes.
the hook through the
hook through the mouth.
Oh god, that was brutal.
That was really bad. Like, holy shit.
Who else did you have die on you? Jessica, right?
Jessica was the attractive, annoying one, right?
The attractive, annoying one that was getting on with Agent Ward.
Yes.
Okay. I was able to save her.
Okay, see, I didn't save her because I tripped going through the water, the stream.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I tripped in the stream. I didn't get there in time, and she fell down the elevator shaft.
See, she did the same thing for me. She fell down you found her on the elevator itself, right? She's all like cut up and bloodied, right? For you? Or
I think I saw her fall down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I was able to get to her, and like he got to her and was like, "Are you all right?" She's like, "What? What's wrong with you?" And then the elevator she's on, it just kind of falls down. So like he got her and talked to her.
Oh no! See, she died.
Oh, see, I was able to get to her, and she survived, but I thought she was dead for probably about 80% of the game. After that, then it was revealed that she survived. And she was in the mines, and apparently, what seems like if she survives, she ends up meeting up with Matthew in the mines, and they escape together.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but Matthew died for me.
Yeah, Matthew definitely died.
Because he is too busy trying to save his bitch girlfriend.
She was annoying, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. I did not like her.
Yeah, I didn't like her either. Like, so, I mean, kudos to the person that played her, because she played the bitch awesomely.
Right, and that goes to the writing as well, of course.
Right, for sure.
And I assume Josh would have died with you as well? Did Josh die?
Shit, oh yeah, Josh did die.
He got his head crushed?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that happened with me as well.
No, actually, no.
No?
His head crushed?
Yeah, what happened? How did he die for you?
What happened for me was, his sister, the Wendigo, walks with him. Hold on. His head crushed. No, he survived as a Wendigo for me.
Whoa, wait, really?
Yeah. Because, so they're in the cavern. Who was it? It was, Mike?
Mike is, Agent Ward.
Yeah, so it was, I think it was Mike and,
the cheerleader, right? Beth, is that her name?
Beth.
Oh, Samantha. Hayden Panettiere?
Yes. So it was them in the area where they found out the truth about the sisters, one being still alive, down there, and then she ended up having to eat her sister, turning into a Wendigo.
Oh, see, they did not find that out, and I got a butterfly effect saying that it did not find that out. How were you able to find that out?
I found clues.
Okay, I found one clue. I found like the locket, but I must have missed a clue. Because if I found that other clue, I could have had him survive.
Yeah, I found a clue. I found the burial site.
Okay.
And the diary.
I don't think I found the diary.
Yeah, so I found the burial site and I found a diary of her basically apologizing to her sister and shit because, like, she got so hungry and shit. She ended up... Because her sister died.
Okay.
On impact.
Right.
The fall. So she ended up having to eat her. Thus, cannibalism turns people into Wendigos there.
Yeah. So
she turned into a Wendigo, and then they find all these clues and whatnot, and then the Wendigos attack them, and it immediately recognizes Josh.
Okay.
And it takes Josh off camera.
I gotcha.
So it doesn't kill them. Recognizes them. They both recognize each other. And then they go off camera. And then the cheerleader and Mike escape.
Okay, because for me, what happened was there was that point right after that when you're still looking for Josh, and you have to wade through that water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you open that door, and like the water pours out, and there's like body parts or whatever.
Right.
And you find Josh. Then you're leaving again with Josh and Mike.
Okay.
And then Wendigo, your sister, pops up, grabs his head, and crushes it. Like it just went.
It
like,
crushed Josh's head.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones style.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, that'd be cool as shit. No, that didn't happen. So he got taken off camera, and then the after credit scene for me showed police locating that area.
Oh.
And
I don't think I realized there was an after credit scene.
yeah, so my after credit scene was the police coming in, finding that location where the twins died, and they find Josh as a Wendigo there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he turned into a Wendigo in my game.
Wow.
Speaking of it, Wendigos.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I said, there's various different horror aspects of this game. It starts out kind of with like the whole slashery type cabin in the woods feel, and then they have some paranormal stuff where you see ghosts and shit like that. You find out it's not ghosts. You find out what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it quickly sprouts into a monster type horror movie with the Wendigos.
Yeah, which are scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Easter egg, though, because I guess this took place in Canada, the same area of Canada where Wolverine first fights the Wendigo in comics.
Oh, yeah.
So
I didn't even think of that.
I was looking through shit after I played this because I wanted to find out some like Easter eggs and some weird shit that I might have missed. And I came across that tidbit. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Adam would love that.
That is cool. Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, it's a fun game, man. Like as you said, you just had a completely different experience than I did.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
because
crazy.
you did find different clues or whatever. Yeah, so clues matter.
Definitely.
Looking around, looking for stuff. What else did you want to talk about in the spoiler section?
I don't know. Like, I kind of like how in various points of the game, doing nothing is the right thing. Like when you encounter that dog,
Yeah.
you could punch the dog, which is the wrong thing to do. You want to be kind to the dog and feed it, and the dog ends up helping you throughout the game. Or just use that one small portion, and I'm like, that's clever. It's always about making the right decision. Sometimes doing the right thing is not the most aggressive thing. It definitely pays kindness to nature. Like you don't want to attack nature.
Yeah. It towards the very beginning, where you're doing the shooting range type of thing.
Did you shoot the bird or the squirrel? You shot the squirrel? Seriously?
I shot the squirrel. And that's when I learned the hard way. I don't know why I did it.
Because video games have trained you that way. You see the target and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to shoot it.
Yeah.
Like,
so I immediately shot the squirrel, and then thought about it like, oh shit, I don't want to play this way, and looked for a checkpoint, and I couldn't checkpoint.
yeah.
I'm like, I have to live with my decision. I'm a squirrel killer.
Oh, that's terrible. But you learned your lesson.
I did.
You learned not to attack the dog and not to attack the deer.
Yeah, and then like you and I were talking about it, like texting back and forth, and you're like, be kind to animals. I'm like, yeah, I know now.
Right. But no, that's crazy. And so those were the three characters for you then? It was Josh, Jessica, and Mike?
Yeah, no, Mike survived.
No, not Matthew.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Matthew died, yeah.
Yes.
Mike survived for me. I was surprised that Beth survived. I think there was a part that I think it was kind of like...
Beth was the bitchy one, right?
Yeah, it was kind of implied that she died.
Right.
And that's what I
Okay,
texted you.
you
I'm
know-
like, I lost another one.
That's where me trying the game screwed me over. So there's that whole fire tower sequence,
Right.
And it was immediately the first time I played as Mike, I was like, no, fuck it, I'm jumping off this thing. I'll see if I can save her after that, because if I don't, I imagine both of them will die.
Uh-huh.
And I jumped off, and she fell. I'm like, well, fuck, I don't want her to die.
Right.
I'll reload it. And it reloaded from quite a ways back, and went through it again. She still fell, and so did he. And I was like, well, damn it. Well, I don't want to go through this again, because that was a long sequence. I don't want to go through it a third time.
Right.
And do it right the way I did the first time. So I'm just going to play it through like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I originally stuck to my first plan, I'm sure I could have had both of them survive.
Yeah, probably.
And I would have been all but one away from getting everyone to survive.
So yeah, his fate was kind of sealed because I, like a dumbass, shot the flare.
See, I gave him the flare, but he immediately shot it. Like, I wasn't giving...
Oh, he shot it?
Yeah.
Okay. I kept the flare gun.
Okay.
But then I shot the flare.
Oh, okay.
Because for whatever reason, I'm like, oh, well, maybe this will trigger something like rescue people will see the flare. Not thinking ahead, not thinking that the flare gun's gonna matter by any means.
Right.
Thinking, okay, I'm gonna shoot this flare off. Maybe it's gonna trigger something. Shot the flare off, not giving a second thought. That's how he died for me, because he
Okay.
didn't have a flare to defend himself.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, because you find those totems and everything.
Right.
I found a totem where it was one of the good ones. It was like a fortune or whatever, and it showed Emily giving him the flare gun. I'm like, okay, so I know I have to do that. So when I came to that spot, I gave him the flare gun, but then he immediately shot it off for me without having that option. So I'm confused on how that happened.
I'm confused on the totems.
How so?
Like, I didn't understand. So I should have followed what the totem was telling me.
It depends. There's the yellow ones, which are there's the
Like a
different
caution.
kinds. There's the lost one, the death one, the fortune,
Right.
and
There's another one.
there's another one. I think that's the yellow one that I can't think of. But the yellow ones, like, they kind of hint you to, like, all right, this is the right thing to do. That's how I learned not to punch the dog.
Oh.
Because I saw him playing with it. I'm like, okay, when dog attacks me, no fight dog.
Right.
So I had that first instinct, like, oh, I can punch the dog. Wait, I'm not supposed to punch the dog. That's a bad idea.
Right.
So those totems totally help guide you to make the right decision.
Okay. Some of the totems did, yeah.
Yeah.
The death ones.
Death ones are just like, this person's gonna die.
Yeah.
It's like, you kind of get a sense of the scene,
Right.
but
Yeah. Man. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of times where you have to choose, like, do I help her? Do I not help her?
right.
To save
And
myself.
there's two sequences where you have to choose between two people, but you kind of learn that those sequences don't really matter in keeping the person alive at that instance.
Right.
Like when it is
Josh and Ashley.
Yes, Josh and Ashley. And that is also one of those things where I kind of saved Scum because I want to save Josh, and I made a decision and still killed Josh. I'm like, oh no, I did it wrong. Let me reload, because that's not what I wanted to do. I must have hit the wrong button or whatever, and I did it again, and it kept killing Josh. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah.
See, I the first time played, I saved it. I saved Ashley, like a douche. I saved love over friendship.
Well, see, oh yeah, you are a douche.
Yeah, I saved the crush over the friendship.
Oh no.
And so Josh died naturally for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh fuck, I have to kill one of them. I guess I'm killing Josh.
You're terrible.
I am such a son of a bitch. But yeah, that's the way I played it. So I didn't realize that if you chose Josh, it still kills Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's interesting.
Right. But then there's the scene where it's Ashley and what's his name? Can't think of the other guy's name. What is the other guy's name?
Chris or whatever?
Chris, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he's not on the IMDb page, which I've been looking at for cheats, but you know, when they're tied to the chair and the saws are coming down, you have the gun.
So which part now?
It's when Ashley and Chris are tied to the chair.
Oh,
and
yeah,
those saw blades are coming down.
Right.
What'd you do in that instance?
I try to shoot myself.
You try to shoot yourself? Okay. Once again, I kind of found a totem, and it just showed Chris putting the gun down. So I was like, I'm just not going to make a choice in this decision. And I was just sitting there for a while, and I watched the blades come down. And eventually it went black. I'm like, well, the decision was made for me, whatever just happened. I'm going to find out. And then it's revealed what's really going on, which I kind of start to suspect that Josh was the guy in the mask.
Right. I felt like it was one of them. I think I might have suspected Josh subconsciously. I wasn't actively saying, it's motherfucking Josh by any means. But yeah, I chose to kill myself in that one, so I fired the gun on my head.
Right. And you kind of start seeing, I found his phone, and it showed that he wasn't taking meds anymore that he was supposed to be on. I'm like, oh, so this guy's unstable.
Yeah.
He's obviously kind of messed up right now. And it started to make sense, like, oh, you know, this is his parents' cabin. Of course, he would have had all this time to set up all this surveillance camera and shit.
Right.
But
yeah, so
and once you understand that, you know, his dad worked in the movies, so he would have an understanding of movie stuff. And
Emily's the bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we were saying that, weren't we?
Okay,
yeah.
No, I think we were saying Beth was.
Oh, is there a Beth? I don't think there's a Beth.
Yeah, I think there's a Beth.
Which one's Beth?
She is Beth Washington's a playable character in Until Dawn. And
Oh, Beth is one of the sisters.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. But I don't remember what I was saying anymore.
Killing yourself, or you led to believe that Josh was the killer.
Right, because, you know, you find out his dad was like a producer in movies and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, he probably has some visual effects understanding, so that makes sense for all the ghost shit going on.
Yeah. It was, man, I really enjoyed the game. So when I shot myself, I heard the gun go off. I'm like, fuck, I just killed myself. And then I think it goes right after that into a psychiatrist visit.
Yes.
Which those are fucking hardcore, like.
Oh yeah, the guy that plays the psychiatrist, he does a very good and creepy job of it.
Oh man, those are so good. And like having to make those decisions, like what are you scared of more? Like, you know, scarecrows, spiders, clowns. And I wasn't thinking about it in terms of the game, just like, yeah, fuck clowns. So like I'm like, yep, hate clowns. And he's like, are you sure between these two, what do you hate? My clowns. So then, of course, it's going to be a clown mask or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, oh, god damn it.
I think I went with Scarecrow. Because mine wasn't very clownish looking. Like, it was kind of white and it looked like the lips were missing and you just saw, like, teeth.
Yeah, I think mine was very similar to that.
Okay.
I think mine was the same.
Kind of clownish, I guess. I don't remember what I chose.
Yeah, I hate clowns.
See, clowns don't bother me, but now they do Scarecrow, so it's kind of like,
between the two.
Yeah, which one scares me the most.
Right.
Or makes me the most, yeah. So there's none of that really bothered me. Like, oh, okay, whatever. And especially in games, I have such a disconnect. Especially when it just comes like this tiny stuff like clowns or spiders or stuff like that. Like, I just, like, oh, I won't be like, oh, that freaks me out. I'll be like, oh, it's on the screen, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I still get bothered by spiders in fantasy games.
Really?
I just hate them. Like, when we're going through dungeons and shit, like, oh, good, spider levels, my favorite.
Oh.
Because the attention to detail on those spiders is really good on a lot of those video games. Like, fuckers, I hate those things.
Yeah, they have all 8 legs.
Yeah.
It's great detail right there.
Yeah, they just, I hate them. I don't like spiders.
Yeah,
So
you and many other, my other friends feel the same way.
Yeah, I don't like them. So, other than that, like, I thought the characters did a really good job.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, like, they should have added more of the horror tropes. Like I think I texted you during like Sam taking a bath scene.
Oh, right.
Like, yeah, there should be some boobies.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's gonna die, there has to be boobies or somebody having sex and getting killed by while having sex or something. They had to have those kind of tropes in there.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the first Wendigo attack, it was Mike and Jess almost getting it on, so it had that element.
I watched a video where one of the deaths was Chris's death.
Oh, okay.
And Wendigo rips off his head.
Oh.
And before he runs back into the cabin.
Right. After the flamethrower guy?
Yeah, so
okay.
The flamethrower guy bites it. And then as Chris is running back to the cavern, I guess there's a way for that, for the trigger for Chris to die.
Okay.
Right.
Probably just sucking the QTs.
Right in front of Ashley, I think.
Yeah, Ashley is.
So she's at the door.
Yeah.
So she's at the door, like, Chris doesn't make it, the Wendigo kills him, and then his head just rolls up to the door. And she freaks the fuck out.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you could do in this game, like choices that you make that there's some
that creates a lot of different
deaths.
Results. Yeah.
So I mean, that's awesome. I love that. You know, I think that's what really makes this game a little bit more compelling than the Indigo games, because like after it's all said and done, a lot of your choices felt like they mattered at the time, but realistically, it kind of still falls back into the same story.
Yeah.
This one, it's a different playthrough. Like
you definitely felt the consequences of your choices in this.
Yeah, and your ability to know the damn buttons on the controller.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I think that this succeeds where those games didn't necessarily succeed, or those games were kind of a letdown.
Right.
Where they paved the way, and then someone took that way and took it to another level.
They refined it to a very fine degree.
Yeah, and I think that this one succeeds where those other games didn't. And that's why I really, really enjoy this game, and I highly talk about playing this game. And anybody who asks me about Until Dawn, I'm like, yes, play it immediately.
Right.
Don't spoil yourself. Just sit down and enjoy the experience.
Yeah, don't play it like I play it, like an asshole.
Yeah, I didn't know you. Like, I was nervous about that, and I didn't do it. But yeah, it's an awesome game, man. Like, any other spoilers you wanted to get into?
No, I think we covered everything at this point.
All right. Well, again, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. So go out this holiday, buy Until Dawn, get it for a friend if they have a PS4. They'll appreciate it later. So talk to you guys soon.
Bye.